Hey everyone, Charlie here, and welcome to day one of my project. And this project is going to be finishing the garage project. So long story short, our house is new. It's built in about 7 years ago or so. So it's fairly new. But the garages in most new builds nowadays leave you like this, where it's what they call level 1 finished drywall. So you still see the tape. So in order to paint it, you want to use joint compound over the tape and then paint it. So the project is going to be this: paint the garage. And so I want to give you kind of an overview of what the garage looks like at the moment. So you can kind of see the cars out of the garage. So if I stick you guys in the corner here, you can kind of see what our garage looks like. It's kind of an L shape, backwards L. It's a two-car garage and then a whole bunch of storage area / workshop or whatever you want to call it. So here's the plan. There's about there's like two strips of tape that runs the entire perimeter of the garage. And then on the top, oh my goodness, this is going on a ride here. Shove this back in, 1, 2, 3. Oh, off it goes, hang on. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then what happens is on the top there's a few strips of tape as well. So I got all the equipment that we need. So here I bought about 11 of these edgers, optional, but I thought, might as well do it. So I went back to Lowe and got it. I've got joint compound, I've got multi-surface primer / sealer, and then I've got Valspar Ultra, which is kind of a mid-grade paint. I figure it's not inside the house. You don't need to have like the highest end stuff. It's just a garage. So mid-grade paint. That's what the ladies at least said. Satin ultra white. Just want everything white. So the plan is this. First, I'm going to clean out the garage. There's a few things I have to pull out. I think I'm going to probably take these down, take that down, pull the refrigerator and those shelves away from the garage. That's about it. I'm going to take that thing off probably. Little things here and there. Clean out the garage. It's pretty clean. The cars in the driveway, I want to keep it in the garage at night though. Then I'll probably go around and cut and do these edger things. What these edger things are is along the bottom, our house, it's pretty clean. Like the bottom of the drywall just stops. It's pretty clean. In a few spots like over here, you can kind of see where it's a little feathered, a little papery there. What those things do is stick them along the bottom, joint compound over it, and then you can paint. It just gives a nice cleaner edge. Don't know if it's gonna work. Decided to try it. So put those things up, ready to go. Then I'm going to have to, if there's any areas where the little tape is coming off, like a little bit here on the bottom, I'll probably just redo those sections. The tape is pretty good in our house, so I don't have to really worry about almost anything of that, which is great. Then joint compound, all the tape stuff. Then sand. Then there will be, as far as the joint compound stuff goes, I don't know how many times I'm going to do it. I can do it once and that'll be good enough. Or if I wanted to and I have left over, I could do more than once. I'm not sure how far that's going to go. It's 5 gallons, which should be enough because I'm not doing the entire everything. I'm only doing those tape areas, like I said, and the bottoms where I'm going to put these edging things. Then there'll be primer, and then it'll be ultra paint. This is not a day project. Definitely not. Oh, and by the way, after the joint compound, you have to sand too, and that's going to be we'll see how that goes. Again, I am no expert in any of this, but I figure that if you look at the way our garage looks now, and all these lines, stuff, I think that even worst case scenario, it'll look a little better. And that's my hope. All in supplies, I think I'm all in about $320, 330, something like that. Give or take. I've had some of the, I have drills and stuff like that, but I had to get like a long arm and a sandy thing, and then joint compound's cheap. It's only like $13, like for 5 gallons, pretty cheap. The multi-surface Valspar sealer, that was pretty cheap too. I think that was like $40, $50 in that range. And then the Valspar Ultra was actually on sale. Usually it's like $130 for 5 gallons. I think it was like $100. Now these are big ballpark numbers. And then of course, the mudding things and all the stuff that you need with it. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot during this. I'll probably be listening to music or podcasts or whatever, and I might update throughout. But if not, wish me luck. All right, so now I've got these things, I've kind of laid them out to work, so they're gonna go right up against the bottom and make it a nice clean edge. So I've laid out the main parts of this. Parts that are less than the full length, which are, I think these are 8 feet each. Then I can cut them and see what I need to. I have a few extras. So we're gonna drill them in with some drywall screws. Here we go. So what I did was I took these edging things, I have a couple left over, and went around the perimeter of the garage. Now certain areas like this, I did not put it because it's too tight against it already and it has a good edge, so I'm not going to worry about that. They're all the way back here. This area also, I stopped here in this corner because this is where all the gas stuff is. I don't want to screw anything up. Plus, it doesn't fit super great this, I'm not going to worry about it. Now, they aren't all perfectly the right size, so what do? I tried to put in the visible areas the long pieces, just like this. But like, for example, here. So that's where you have to cut. Here, same here. This one goes all the way over, I think. I might have had to cut it on that end, I think. This time I use a small piece here. And where's the overlap? Right there. A little bit of I just butted up against the end. Cut it. Another example. Here, on this side, I've got a piece coming down here. And a full-length piece, I believe, there. And they're too close to the cement, so there's not really room anyway, and it doesn't really need it. Had to cut other stuff too. So for example, there's an overlap here. Cut that piece, and then this piece just kind of fit pretty snugly. Actually, I might need to put this one a little closer, so I might need to do that. So how do I cut it? I actually just used a pair of shears that I used to prune the trees and stuff. Just you have to give it some elbow grease, but you can cut them. So, all right. All right, now it's time, now that we've gotten all the edging stuff done, to start prepping some. I think I'm going to prep some of the plastic. So the next step is going to be doing the joint compound, right? Eventually we're going to have to do, I'm not sure if it's best to, so I'm going to park the car in here because this is not going to be a one-day project by any means. But I think I can start covering up stuff that can be covered up. Subject to change. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to have to tape it down. All right, where's the paper? Oh, you can see it right there. There we go. Look what I found. All right, so pretty much covered. I got some painter's tape around the main parts of there. Everything is most of that spot, not all of it, but most of it there. I can always throw some more down once I get to the floor is pretty much covered. To move all this stuff over here to put it under there and then move it back. It's a lot to work, but looks like it's coming. So I'm not sure if we're going to continue today or do it another day, but I think we got a good start. All right, second day of the project, closing the garage door here. So what the plan is for today is to start applying the joint compound. I've never done this before, so it's going to be a little bit of hit or miss. You just have to water it down if it's a little bit too thick, and I have no clue exactly how much joint compound I need. I got a big bucket of it, but I might need to go back to Lowe's for more depending on how much I use and how smooth I want the walls to actually be. So let's get to it today. All right, here's the joint compound we've got here. Hard to get this lit up. Pretty thick, so I'm gonna have to water it down. day 2. I got everything done except for that pillar back on the ceiling. I got the whole perimeter done and then that part of the ceiling over there. So I'm gonna have to do a few more lines coming back and then I'll be done with the mudding, or whatever you call it. All right, we're on day 3 of approaching this project. Looks like it's pretty mostly dry, what we did yesterday, and it looks like it turned out pretty well. It's very smooth. You can't feel the tape in pretty much anywhere. So a few spots I might have to go over a little bit one more time, but I think even if I were to leave it completely alone, it's fine. I have to finish doing the top though. So that's what the plan is for today. Finish the top and then touch up a few of the little spots that might need another go around. Maybe if there's a little spots, you know, like where they filled in these, if I want to just go over it a little bit more to make it a little bit more smooth. And yeah, here we go. All right, on day 4 now of the project, the garage project. Yesterday was an eventful day, and not in a good way, but in a way that was probably good that it happened when it did. Let me explain. So, you know, the garages that aren't finished have a lot of stuff all over them. There's marks and scuffs and, you know, little things, and some of it was probably when they built the house and whatever. Anyway, there was this mark that I had noticed at some point. I think it's been there a long time. I never thought twice about it. Anyway, the issue is when I was finishing up the joint compound on the ceiling yesterday, I felt the drywall on the ceiling right up there, where there's a little hole now you can kind of see, and it was slightly wet. And I'll get a little closer so you can see it. Look straight up and you'll be able to tell right up there, there's a little hole and there's like a little mark that looks like maybe water had been and it dried. It was slightly damp. It wasn't dripping out, but it was slightly damp. And anyway, long story short, I measured it out, figured out where everything was and everything, and it turned out that that's right below the toilet in the master bathroom. And so I flushed the toilet like 7 times, came down, sure enough, it got wet and I saw a drip come down. So, called out a plumber. Long story short, $500 later, they replaced the O-ring. $500. I must be in the wrong industry here, because if I start, maybe I should have started a plumbing or electrical business or something. Anyway, fixed the O-ring, learned how to do it though, so I think I could do it next time. I wouldn't have even guessed it was the O-ring. I would have tried probably like drilling, like cutting into the sheetrock or whatever. Anyway, it's all dry, all fixed. Flush it, it's fixed. So today, go over that. I have some like putty stuff to fill in the hole and do that. Joint compound over it, make it smooth, and I'm going to start the process of sanding down. It's pretty smooth. I don't think I have to do too much sanding, but sanding down the edges, make it extra smooth of the joint compound places, and yeah, so that's the plan for today. Let's get to it. Another quick thing about that little small leak we had. I think it was probably there for a while, and it would just like it's only when you flush the toilet that it was like a little tiny bit of damp. So like you know, how often do you flush the toilet a few times, then come down here, then look straight up at that and touch it and be like, oh, it's slightly damp. So it's probably been like that for a while. But I'm glad that I found it and that we fixed it, especially before I make the garage all night. So you wouldn't want to have it form on the new. Anyway, it's good that we figured out the problem. It was probably a problem that's been around for a while, we just didn't notice. So it's good that we found the problem. It's sad that it costs $500, but I think in the future, if at least an O-ring thing happens, I think I'd be able to handle it myself and save $500. Oh my gosh. Still sanding. I did the sanding of the top. Just doesn't have to be perfect for the top, I think. With the stick, I'm using a hand sander and going around. It's kind of a neat way to make clean lines along the bottom edges. Then we put edging down here along the bottom, but of course it kind of comes out. You get plaster down, joint compound down below. You can take the edge of your sanding holder thing, just kind of scrape it along the bottom and peel off any of that stuff. right below. It just kind of comes right off. See how I screwed it up? Okay. Stand it. Move it all out. Perfect. And again, just kind of scrape along the bottom. And you can create a clean edge. Here's a thicker spot right there. Pop that off. And again, clean edge. If it's too thick, pop it off like that. Scrape it clean. It's a metal edge, so it doesn't hurt anything. And help get a clean edge. See here also, it's kind of a messy edge, so I'll just run this down the left side of it. That's how I can do that. You could probably also do this with a blade, but this seems to work well just because there's a handle, a little bit more control. Nice and smooth. All right. Come on, Charlie. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a garage. There. Next day, just got the old clothes on from yesterday. So today is the first day of putting stuff down. Look at my hair. Didn't shower. Well, showered last night. Didn't comb it. Whatever. Today I'm going to put on primer. So I'm going to start by cutting along the edges and primer. My right knee is kind of hurting. I think it is because I ran on a long run last week and then I've been going up and down the ladder about 50 bajillion times. But I'm just going to kind of take it easy on my right knee. Anyway, cutting in all the stuff on the corners and then with the primer, and then I'm going to roll. This is the painting day. So I got the primer all down. One coat, it's about 5 gallons. Pretty good. It looks like it's how it's dried. I didn't do anything yesterday in here. So it's pretty smooth, pretty good. The paint has a primer and paint in it as one, so should cover it up nicely. So it'll be the paint day. So here we go. All right, about 9 more hours today and it's done. The painting is done. Whew, that's a lot of work. But look how nice clean it looks. So much better than before. Tomorrow I'm gonna clean up and start putting it back together again. All right, project updates. So I had to run to Lowe's again yesterday to buy 2 more gallons of paint. So I bought the primer, another 5 gallons of primer, didn't end up using any of that. So I returned that, bought 2 more gallons of paint though because 5 gallons of paint wasn't enough. So I needed 7 gallons of paint, not quite, probably about like 6 and a little bit more than 1. But I'm glad that I have an extra, like a paint can size of, not quite full, of paint. So that if in the future I need to touch up spots or whatever, I've got that. Painting is finished. Today I'm just gonna clean stuff up. So total time so far, excluding many trips to Lowe's, has been around 32 hours of labor, give or take a little bit, of hard work. I mean, my right knee is like hurting and a couple of my fingers were numb a little bit. It's going away now. So I'm glad that this is one of those things that I'm glad that I did. I can say that I've finished a garage before, with the drywall, joint compound and all, but it's something that I hope I'll never have to do again. It's one of those things like I can say that I've done it, been there, done that. It's a lot of work. So today I'm just gonna put stuff together, clean up. The garage is a complete mess. I'm gonna clean stuff up, throw away all the paper, plastic stuff, blow out the garage, clean the stuff, and then start putting stuff back together where it's supposed to be. Put the refrigerator where it's supposed to go, the shelves, start putting the shelves up, all the stuff that's been sitting in our outdoor room because there's nowhere to put it because I've been in the garage, all that stuff. Put it back together. And I also have to clean up the car because the inside of the car is like dusty and everything. It's not painty, but dusty, and cleaning day. What do you think, Molly? Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, finished the garage. It took about 39 to 40 hours of actual work. You can kind of see it here. It turned out pretty well. The walls are smooth. You see very little to no tape. Occasionally, I mean, I only did it to about a level 2 or so of drywall. The garage is much brighter, much cleaner, much finished. It's finished feeling, because it is finished. It's not perfect, but it is pretty good, and the whole thing feels very, very bright, and it feels like an extension of the house now. Even the bottom edging came out pretty well. I pressure washed it, cleaned everything up today. So about 39 to 40 hours. I started last Friday, today is Friday, so about 8 days. And I didn't work every single one of those days. I couldn't work on Wednesday, so it was about 7 days of work. About 39 to 40 hours of work, plus lots of trips to Lowe's. All right, see you later.